Hey, this is Ramon, channel is Alpha 4. Please watch, please like, please subscribe, please share this video. This is part of my Stoicism series. Usually this is done 5 sections at a time, but this one section is a little bit longer. And this is going to be on Epictetus's view on agnostics, atheists, and 3 types of religious, or 3 kinds. So let's begin. He defines atheists as those who believe the divine does not exist. He defines agnostics as those who believe the divine is indifferent and inactive or without care to the mortal condition. Then he says the third kind are those that believe the divine does exist and does exercise provincial care, but within a limited scope, as in only regards to important and grave matter. The fourth kind are those who believe the divine does exist and is powerful, but only takes a general interest in reality and mortal life, with no respect for the individual or concern for specific affairs. That's kind of the Catholic view on religion and God, by the way. The fifth kind are those who believe the divine does exist, is powerful, and is concerned with individual life and specific affairs, as no movement escapes its or their concern. But then the question is, are any of these positions, propositions, or premises sound? When it comes to the first and second position, if the atheist or agnostic are correct, how can it be our goal to follow and obey, that is to be like, as best as we can, the gods or God? As for the third position, if the divine exists, yet there is no communication between gods and men, how can we know anything true or sound about the divine? The goal here then, in Epictetus's view, is to be excellent and virtuous. And you want to pick the belief system that gets you to that goal. Then to do so, one must submit and willingly obey his master. That is his ultimate goal, or in other words, his ultimate value, and defined his shekel in the sanctuary, to borrow a Jewish phrase. Once we do that, we must follow the law of the divine as we follow the law of a city or a nation that we say we are citizens of. In other words, once we figure out who we're following, we must follow the rules that we feel that what we are following has set out. So if we believe that there was something before creation, the principles that it set out in creation we're supposed to follow. Get it? Simple. Okay? Just as a good student or a good teacher in a well-ordered classroom does. This leads to 3 questions. Question number 1, how can I follow the divine in everything I do? Question number 2, how can I act in a way that is acceptable to the divine will? And question number 3, how may I be truly free? Third one may seem like a leap, but remember we're talking about an ex-slave, and his concept of freedom is highly important to him and will be highly important to Stoics going forward. Freedom here meaning the free will to choose for oneself without outside, that is, without external impediment. This freedom is not to be taken lightly, for this freedom is not the madness that atheists and agnostics make it out to be in their mockery. Nor is this freedom mere or simple wish fulfillment. Nor is this freedom relative or subjective. For if we ask, how did things come about? We will see that all things have their season, as there is an order and a pattern to the universe and creation. This order is plain and simple to see. You can find out when random events will occur and when the patterns of a thing will change. Means that things aren't completely chaotic, means that there has to be an order. So in Epictetus' opinion, that means someone must have done the ordering. Someone must have set it up in a certain way. At least that's the argument that he's making, or at least seems to be making in this particular section. Our first step, then, should not be to bend the universe, that is, nature and reality, to our personal liking, for we, flawed beings that we are, would make a mess of things. No. Instead, we should observe reality in nature as it is, for what it is. To do this, we should start with the insect. I recommend the ant, then the fish, then the cat, and then the dog or the wolf. We may also want to look at the human, to watch the male, then the female, to see what is true and what works, from reality and action, not from fantasy, theory, or speculation, but from reality and action. And when we do this, that we should not judge, but only observe, record, and note. Then we should look at a bird, such as a dove, then a crow or raven, and then a hawk. For although each is a bird, each general nature will be different. And we should look at multiple samples, but especially successful samples of each. For individuals differ slightly from each other as well. Then we should do the same with a blade of grass, and then a flower, and then a tree. And do the same with weather, and with the seasons. We should learn and see what is real. But why, you may ask, as that seems like a lot of work? Well, to learn what the rules of real life are, and to take notes on real life and real interaction, as books or plays are not real life. We must learn the nature of real life and the nature of real things, so that we may keep our will in accord with true nature. Then we can ask, what is the nature of the gods? And I don't mean any implication by that. I'm simply saying that in the hierarchy of things, the hierarchy that is above us is the divine. The hierarchy that is below us is the animal, and then below that, the insect. And so we should work our way up the hierarchy to see how things work on each level. We should also watch what happens to the creature which does not live in harmony with nature, and then learn from its mistakes and do not repeat them. One thing we will learn through this observance, if we do not know so already, is that human people have the ability to go against their own nature. Why? Why is that? Why do we have that ability? That people have the ability to change their nature. Again, we ask why. And then we may ask, who gave us this ability? What method or system can we or did we discover to apply to dealing with this power, this responsibility, this freedom? And I put in a bracket, the answer for me is religion. But after you get this answer, then you may ask, what of the discontented? Those who do not follow these precepts or principles. The animal that adapts incorrectly, what happens to it when it goes against the precepts of survival? Epictetus says of them, to let them be a bad child or a bad parent, so long as you live an excellent and virtuous life. Remember, survival isn't good enough for Epictetus. You also must be excellent and virtuous. For in truth, you too are weak of spirit and have a flawed character. It is not in being perfect that our mortal lives are like the divine. It is in your reason and your ability to make judgments that you are like the divine. So, therefore, give thanks to God. Do not be angry or displeased with God. Love and fear God. Think of your parents when you think of love and when you think on this. But not your parents' mistakes. Do not blame them for your current positions in life or for your past mistakes. For you are responsible only for those things that are in your control, and the same for they. For those who are not Christian, what Epictetus seems to be hinting at, although, again, I don't know that Epictetus was Christian or Jewish or anything like that, and even if he's not, what he seems to be hinting at is the image and likeness of God that we are endowed with by our Creator, that intrinsic value. For Catholics, we believe it's rationality of the mind, the ability to think. Epictetus seems to be hinting at the same conclusion. But anyway, this was my Stoicism study. Please like, please subscribe, please comment down below, please make a response video, please share this video so more people watch. Talk to you all later.